he says, "Hey guys, have you ever said fuck all the SEO and went to paid full on? You mean like paid traffic?" I've thought about it, but just just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. I can't help it. I love SEO, so I found it. I don't know. I guess I don't. First of all, I hate Facebook, and I don't like Facebook ads. I have no desire to run Facebook ads. Google, I like running ads on like YouTube, and search ads are just so hard to make profitable, especially on lead gen for clients. And I'm not crazy about it. I like SEO because I like trying to figure stuff out. So the answer is, have I ever done it? Have I ever said fuck it and go full on paid traffic? No, I've used paid traffic, but I can't get away from SEO. I enjoy it too much. So I think SEO is higher value too for clients because again, like think about it though. I guess that's kind of counterintuitive what I just said, because if I was just managing SEO, ads, paid ads for tree contractors, and they decided they didn't want to they cut me off, like, okay, well then they'd have to find another paid ad provider, or else, because when they stop paying, the traffic stops. With SEO, you can rank them and then they stick sometimes. Not always, but a lot of the contracts, because a lot of the stuff that I do ends up working really well. And so, they stick, and it just pisses me off because, there's a lot of churn, and and it's just it's just one of the industries I'm in. It's a seasonal type of business. So every single winter I go through this, and that's why I try to do mostly everything. I try to build all my assets or relationships around lead gen assets so that I can, I maintain control, right? But again, in a win-win way, because with the revenue share, when traffic slows down, like because of the winter season, we still get calls in the winter. We just don't get as many, but they're only paying for calls that make money. So why would they get like the revenue share model, which is my preferred method to work with tree service contractors? In that case, it doesn't make sense for them to want to cancel with me because they're not paying if no calls are coming in, right? And it's the same thing with pay per lead, by the way. Rank and rent, though, like if it's a seasonal business, you'll find that it's going to be hard to keep people wanting to pay when the calls are slower. But it's funny because during the busy season, when their call volume was way, way up, they don't want to pay extra either. And that's what I used to say to guys. I've got a couple like grandfathered rank and rent stuff from people from contractors from years ago that are still just paying like a really small amount because it's like no maintenance work on any of those assets. But it was funny because I would get the calls in the winter when things would slow down, and they'd be like, I don't want to be paying $500 a month at the time because I don't do much anymore at that. But if I was charging $500 a month, I get the call in the winter when things would get slower. Well, I don't really want to be paying $500 a month when the calls aren't coming in that much. And then I'd say, okay, fine, I can reduce it. But in the summer, when the calls are real high, I'm going to raise it from $500 a month to $1,000 a month because the calls are coming in more. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Okay, well then, how can you call me and say that you don't want to pay the $500 a month when the calls are slow, but then tell me you don't want to pay a higher price when the calls are coming in hot, like more volume of calls are coming in? Does it make sense? No, of course not. But that's part of the reason why I said I think there's better ways to do it than just rank and rent. Although that is the easiest way to do it. Here's the thing with rank and rent, I would say the best way to do rank and rent is to keep your cost, like the cost lower, because then it's easier to maintain that customer or that client, that lead buyer. You don't make as much money that way, but it's certainly easier to manage. You don't have to have all the infrastructure in place to track everything. And it's also, if you keep it at a reasonable rate that they're not going to bitch about, they're not going to complain about, that it's less likely that you'll lose them at some point if things slow down. So.
Well, my turn on that is there is really no reason why you cannot do SEO and paid ads. And the thing is, they both have their positives and negatives. They both have their issues and struggles. And on the paid ad ones, so for example, if you're doing just really local and you're doing the area targeting and not just keyword search, for example, you pretty much can set it up and forget it. But then again, if you're doing it for Facebook or TikTok or one of the other more social platforms, Don't forget that you always gotta replace the ad image, the ad text and stuff, because like there's just too high of a burn rate. And if you don't update those advertisements as well, Facebook will not show you the love, or like whatever platform it is. And as I said, like if it was me and I would do it locally, I would provide it both services. And if I just want to do either SEO or like just the paid one, for the other one, I'll probably find a partner or like somebody else to outsource it to, and charge them for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like I said, found it very difficult in the tree service industry to make Google ads profitable. It really is tough. And because, like, for example, well, right now it's probably not near as high, but during the busy season in Northern Virginia, which is where most of my tree contractors are, it'll be $50, $55, $60 per click for tree service near me, tree removal near me, tree service plus city, tree removal. Those are the top keywords. Tree trimming keywords are usually a little bit less, but let's say $50 a click. Let's just use that as an example. A good conversion rate when you're paying for PPC is 30%, right? 35%. So that means for every 30 to 35%. So for every 3 clicks you get 1 conversion. And so if you think about that, that's $150. And so each click does not mean it's a lead. So when people say like, $50 per click, CPC, cost per click, they're thinking, I know a lot of people think, oh, well, that means every time I get a click, I'm getting a lead. No, bullshit. And not only that, but there's a lot of click fraud. And you'll see that, like, especially in those kind of industries where you get a lot of clicks that have no intention from anybody ever trying, they're not real customers. There's click fraud that happens. And there's tools and services out there that help to prevent that to a degree, but none of them are foolproof. And so what I'm saying is, if you've got a good landing page and it's dialed in and you're getting 35% conversion rates, then you're doing fairly good. So $150 for 1 lead, right? That's 1 lead. And so it's hard to do that and make that profitable, I found, at least in the industry that I'm in, which is tree services. So like I said, it's difficult to do. I just stick with SEO because it seems to be a much higher return on investment. Anyway, will it be right time to do all time paid? Again, I don't know. I mentioned this before. I spent last year trying to make lead gen on YouTube for tree service leads. And I spent about $8,000 in 6 weeks on trying to dial in YouTube campaigns, geo-targeted YouTube campaigns for generating, tree service leads from YouTube ads. And I got it down at the end of the 6-week trial. And again, I'd spent $8,000 testing and kind of trying to dial it in. And I got it down to consistently being able to generate the cost per lead or cost per acquisition to about $58. So, and that was consistently around the last week that I was doing that, I was generating leads at about $58 cost per acquisition. And, but that was still so high, and I was doing it on a lead gen side. So, I do sell on a pay per lead basis, and I will sell the lead up to 3 times. My lead buyers are aware of that. So, but not all leads get sold 3 times. It just means they can be sold 3 times. And I sell each tree service lead at $25 per lead. When it's if somebody wants exclusive, then I charge them $50 or $60 for exclusive leads on a pay per lead basis. But if I'm charging them 25, which most tree guys just want to pay 25 per call, I tell them that's fine, but it can be sold up to 3 times. Again, they don't always get sold 3 times, but sometimes they can be sold up to 3 times. So to 3 different contractors, and essentially, so that'd be $75 if the lead got sold to 3 contractors. And so if I was generating a lead at $58, I would have to sell it 3 times in order for it to be profitable at all, right? And if it didn't sell 3 times, if it only sold twice or only sold once, then I've just lost money. And so it wasn't sustainable, which is why I killed the campaign. And that was, again, I was trying to do it specifically with YouTube. Now, I may try to revisit that this year again at some point, but I found it just too difficult to make profitable. Okay.